everyone, it's Mary with Mary's Stampin' Cafe. Thanks so much for stopping in at my Stampin' Saturday recorded and uploaded video. Today I'm very excited to be stamping and getting all in those fun fall feelings. Fall is just a short week away. September 21st is the official per our nature. Although sometimes our nature needs to catch up, right? Anyway, I am looking at such a cute little bundle from Stampin' Up! In the September to December 2023 mini catalog. This has just been released and it is the Pick of the Patch bundle. It is so cute. You've got all these wonderful pumpkins and leaves and all sorts of great additions like some dots and little swirling leaves. I just love everything about fall and pumpkins. I tell you, there's just something about it. Now, what's also nice about this particular bundle is you have some non-fall type things like thanks so much. We also have cutie pie. That's fun. Now, you can also make this a fun little Halloween card by adding our jack-o'-lantern face. We've got the little crow up here. And of course, we've got this bear tree that could be a little bit haunting if you want it to be. We've got some great samples in all of our little catalogs. And so if you don't have catalogs, the physical copies, you might reach out and ask to get one. I'm happy to send you one because there are samples for all the kind of products that Stampin' Up! Has, and they're just great idea books. Now, if you are a subscriber, thanks so much for being a subscriber. If not, well, why not? Go ahead and click that subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my content. Now, it is time to create with this great little bundle. One of the things I really like is that it is a punch bundle. I just love when Stampin' Up! Has created punches that have multiple items that you can punch out. And that just makes space saving, so I don't have to have so much room for a bunch of individual punches, and they are great to have. I'm using lots of colors today. Today I have some Calypso Coral, Copper Clay, Crumb Cake, Pumpkin Pie, and I did pull out a little spot of Pear Pizzazz. Pear Pizzazz is a retired color, but it is a great green color, and I decided to use it today. Why not? So I have some things cut out already. I have a piece of 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, thick, very vanilla. I then have a piece of Calypso Coral that is 4 by 5 1/4, and that's going to be for the inside of the card. Whenever I do cards that are neutral, whether they're white or vanilla, I really like to add another splash of color on the inside. So then I have a piece of the very vanilla that I cut at 3 3/4 by 5 so that it layers perfectly on the inside, just like that. Now, what I have here are what we call flashcards. Flashcards are a great way to get multiple cards. When you take one piece of colored cardstock and you cut it at 4 1/4 by 2 3/4, you will get 8 of these. Then you do the same with your neutral, but this time with your sheet of your neutral color, you cut it at 4 by 2 1/2, and then you have a perfect layer. And since you get 8 of them with one sheet of cardstock, you are set to go for multiple cards to bless multiple people. So there we go. That is from Simply Simple Stampin' Connie Stewart, something she created years and years and years ago. One more thing that I have, and I've already run it through my embossing folder, and it is the Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder. It is such a beautiful, beautiful embossing folder. It really does bring those leaves to the forefront, and it's so pretty. So I have that at 5 1/4 by 4 to be a layer on my vanilla. Now, another thing you can do if you don't have this embossing folder, another product that we have in our mini catalog is the Abundant Beauty decorative masks. And in this set of decorative masks, you have this beautiful leaf mask. So you could also go ahead and do some sort of leaf mask for the front using your blending brush. One of the reasons I decided to use my Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder is I really wanted that dimension. So I am going to grab this piece and set everything else aside. I'm going to bring in the Calypso Coral. I really like Calypso Coral. It's not such a brash, like pumpkin-y color, orangey. It's a little bit more of kind of an orange going into a rosy color. And I just love that. So what I'm doing is inking up, going off of the cardstock and then coming in. And I want to be sure I'm staying very central to where these leaves are. And since these leaves are raised up, my blending brush can focus on just that area and not get all of that cardstock around it colored. Some of that cardstock will get colored because some of the leaves are more embossed than others. But just such a pretty color Calypso Coral is. So I want to just give that color to the raised leaves that are falling. I could go into multiple colors. I could pull in some yellow and some green if I wanted to, but I'm going to keep this card pretty much on a monotone or monochromatic feel. But look at how pretty that is, just adding some of that color to the texture of the leaves. I just think it's so fun. Well, there we go. That's really nice, isn't it? I think it's terrific. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that glued to the front of the card. Now I am going to use liquid glue. This is a tip that I always share. Whenever you do embossing, dry embossing, you have all of these divots and recessed places, and liquid glue will get into those crevices and it just adheres much better than a tape. So go ahead and get this down, make sure I'm evened up around and straight. And there we are. I've got that nice, very vanilla edge that's going around. And there we go. I always like to do a layer on top. I don't like to do embossing on the base of the card because I open it up, then I see the indenting here and things, and I just don't like that. So I like adding that little layer there. All right, now this is where the fun really begins. So we've got this great tree. I can have this tree just be bare if I wanted to, and then I think I'd move more onto a Halloween type of project. And this is my copper clay, which is a great, great color. And I'm just going to put that tree down here in the corner, just like that. And this set is so fun because there's so many different stamps that you get to use. It's so fun. And now I'm going to bring in that little pear pizzazz. And I have my little set of 3 leaves, and I'm just going to start bringing those like they're falling off the tree, and they're coming down and landing on the ground. They're just going to keep on the ground here. Maybe even have it going like so, just like that. Fun. Now I want to do a quick wash because I'm going to change colors, because we know falling leaves all have different colors. So I'm going to come in with the pumpkin pie. And I'm going to ink up the leaves, and then I'm going to have these leaves coming in and just kind of falling all over, just like the green. even have it. There we are. Fun. Isn't that a fun little fall tree already? I love it. All right. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to have some pumpkins. So I'm going to grab this scrap right here and close up the pumpkin pie, and I'm going to get the Calypso coral. And I'm taking there are two pumpkins that you can punch with the punch builder. This pumpkin and this pumpkin, these two here. Then you also can punch out this leaf and the stem that's on the pumpkins. Those punch out as well. And so you'll see how much fun these are. So my Calypso coral, I'm just going to walk this pumpkin all around. And I want to look at this punch for a minute because I want to know, okay, all right. So when I look at my punch, here is the pumpkin I'm going to punch out. So I don't want to waste a lot of cardstock. So I am going to lay my pumpkin down on this edge of the cardstock. If I did it over here, I would waste all of this because this pumpkin would get in the way. So I'm going to do it right on the edge just like that. I like to look at the punch, not this part of the punch, because that makes me think I need to punch it going that way. No, look at it to how it's going to cut. So then when you open it, this is going to slide right down, and notice how I'm right on the edge, and I'm not going to waste any cardstock when I get this lined up to punch. And really, this is easy to line up and punch. I'm just, for some reason, my little hand doesn't want to coordinate. I know why. I'm left-handed, so using this hand to do this is not very easy. And see how little amount I used? And look at how cute that pumpkin is. Isn't that pumpkin just adorable? Now, something else that I did is I already have a pumpkin pie, large pumpkin cut out, but I'm going to go ahead and do that again to show you how you would utilize your paper and not waste. So let me get the large pumpkin out so I can show you how that would work. So the large pumpkin is on my block, and I'm going to get the pumpkin pie. So I have the pumpkin pie. Now I'm going to look at it. Now this pumpkin's standing up, and it's over on this side now, so I am going to actually stamp my pumpkin over here on this side. Right there. That's a cute, cute pumpkin. And then I'll bring it right over here. And I like to squeeze down a little bit as I'm lining things up to punch. It just helps it to not slide around. So then there I went again, and I only used that right there. So looking at your punch up the way it's going to punch is really important. All right, so I have an orange pumpkin, I have my Calypso coral pumpkin. Now I want to talk to you about the stem and this leaf. Notice the stem is right up at the top, and there's no other openings here. So you can do a skinny strip of cardstock to do this, as well as notice the leaf. Your little leaf down here, you have nothing else in the way on either side that's going to cut out like it would here. So doing just a small strip of cardstock will help. So let me show you what I've done. I went ahead and I stamped out a bunch of stems just on some scrap vanilla that I had. You know, when you're cutting your cardstock, you end up with leftovers. And so now you'll see when I punch this leaf out, or this stem out, there it is. Nothing has been affected. Now I didn't do that one very well, so I notice I stamped them on both sides. So I'll bring this one in. I'll do better at punching this one out. I just did not do a good job lining it up. That was just kind of strange. And there we go. And I've got a perfect little stem here. And notice I didn't use any other cardstock. So now I'm going to need 3 stems because I'm going to have 3 pumpkins. Now I have 2. Two pumpkins right now. There we go. And the third pumpkin I'm going to have to fussy cut it, but I want to show you how I do my fussy cutting, because these punched pumpkins, you'll notice they have an edging of white that goes around them, just a very slight edging of white. Well, I want to try to do that when I cut out my pumpkin. Now here's my little leaves that I did. And notice I just have it again on my strip of vanilla. And when I bring it in here to do my punching, there I go. So I have my pretty leaf, and I just have that. But notice here on this one, this leaf actually got a tip taken off because I stamped it too high up. And the leaf right in here got in the way. So I'm going to come over to this side and I'm going to pop in right here. And there we go, and nothing was hurt on that side. So just a little bit of placement of what I was doing here. So I have 2 of those. That's what I need. I've got these 2 pumpkins. So let me set these aside. And I just have a whole bunch of them, so I can do tons and tons more cards. All right, so where is that other pumpkin that I wanted to do? It's this one right here. It's kind of the tall one. And I will need my stamping spot again because this one's going to be done in our Pear Pizzazz. I really like Pear Pizzazz. It's a really good green. I know it's retired, but I always think of it being a lighter green, but it's actually quite a nice deep green. And then I have all of this that I can keep doing for more pumpkins. All right, so now we're going to talk about cutting our pumpkin. First off, I'm just going to get rid of this excess because it just really drives me crazy. So I'm going to come in, and as I'm cutting around, I'm going to take it really, really slow. And I'm going to get that little edging around, and I'm going to kind of keep coming, but notice how I'm turning the cardstock as well. And then I'm just going to do that. So then I'm going to come here and I'm going to go just straight across. I'm not even going to do that dip. And I'm going to slowly come back around this way. I don't want my border to get too wide. I really want to go slow. I really want to focus on what I'm doing. And then I can clean up anything that maybe didn't quite go right. Like right here, that's a little wonky, so I'll trim that. Coming a little bit closer over here. And then when I get back up here, I can go ahead and do that little divot and then kind of get these edges not pointed. They're a little pointy. And then I'm going to come back to this side because my border is a little, I think it's just a little bit wide. I don't know, maybe not. But I do have that little point sticking out there. We don't want that. Well, there we go. So we've got that edging around that little bit of white. It is a little bit rustic, I would say. But that's okay. That's what makes it fun. There we are. So let's get these scraps all aside. Okay, so now all we need to do, no, you are still too pointy. Is we're going to lay our pumpkins down. And they all need just a little dollop of liquid glue because we need to put the stems on our pumpkins. So just a little glue there. Then I'll bring one stem. Need to pick up our pumpkin though to see what it's going to look like. I'll go ahead and put that down. Sure I will. There we go. Now I'll go ahead and I'll grab this one. That's so cute. Look at how cute that one is. Oh my goodness. So that's that one. Now this one. This is the one where I didn't stamp it very well. I mean, punch it out very well. And there's that one. All right, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and glue this piece to the Calypso coral. There we are. That looks great. All right. And so now I need a little more liquid glue for our biggest pumpkin. We're going to get some perspective and depth going on by having our largest pumpkin kind of right in here. Just like that. And then our tall little pumpkin is going to be in front of that large pumpkin, kind of like right in here, like so. Lovely, I love it. Okay, now this pumpkin is going to get raised with dimensionals. No glue needed. By raising things up with dimensionals really helps to give some good depth. And there we are. We've got our nice cluster of our pumpkins, but that's not all. We have these couple of leaves right here, and they're going to need a little bit of glue right at the base there for that one. And notice I'm not using much glue at all. A little more on this one. But this is going to come and sit right like that on this pumpkin. How fun is that? And then this one is just going to kind of tuck behind it here. Just like that. So fun. Look at that. I love it. Love, love, love it. Now we're going to use a great sentiment. It's called You're the Pick of the Patch. And that sounds like a fantastic thank you card. I've got the Pear Pizzazz spot that I'm using. I have so many of the Pear Pizzazz spots. Stampin' Up for a long time in their paper pumpkins. Don't mind my head. We're including a Pear Pizzazz spot. You're the pick of the patch fun. All right, we'll set that aside. Then we're going to come to the inside of our card, and we're going to use the thanks so much sentiment. Thanks so much. There we go. And then I'm going to use the same pumpkin that was the Calypso Coral one to do a fun one on the inside. That looks so good. All right, so I want to share with you a couple other fun things that there are in the stamp set. So we're going to add a little bit of our curly Q for the pumpkin. This uses a lot of clear blocks where you have to do a lot of switching them out. Right. Oh no, goodness. I'm going to go ahead and just put that right there, just like so. Very cute. And then I'm going to need the stem to stamp the stem for the pumpkin too. So we'll switch those. And we need our crumb cake for the stem. Photopolymer is so great. You can see right what you're doing. Love it. All right. So let's go ahead and adhere this down to the inside. And then our card will be just about finished. So you will not want to wait much longer to go ahead and order this Pick of the Patch bundle. So you have lots of time to create your fun fall cards and autumn cards. Maybe even tie them into a little bit of Halloween cards, right? Now, because my pumpkins is raised up right here, and I've got the dimension on the leaves here, I'm not going to raise up this part. So I'm going to use, my liquid glue would bite me, I think, if it were a snake. Set it down next to me instead of where it belongs, in the little container up there. So if you order with me during this month of September, using the host code that's on the screen and the link in the description below the video, 20% of all orders are going to be going to an autism advocacy organization in our area. This is the Give Back Month Stampin' Up! They're giving $3 of every package of a Walk in the Forest Designer Series paper they are donating to a Toys for Tots organization. Well, there it is. There is my Pick of the Patch super pretty fall fun card. Thanks so much. I really just love that Calypso Coral. And tying in even the pumpkin and the pear pizzazz. You could very easily use Old Olive with this, which is a current color. Very, very nice. Tell me what you think of my card today. And if you were going to do the Pick of the Patch bundle, would you be creating a fall card or would you be creating a Halloween card? I'd like to know. Thanks so much for stopping in, you guys. Give me a like, Share if you would. I'd appreciate it. And again, if you're not a subscriber, please do. Check out the links below for shopping with me to help raise funds for an autism organization, as well as my events that you might be interested in. And until next time, happy stampin'!